Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron McKenzie-Lefurgey. I'm back with yet another video about a mythical creature, but this time we're not pulling from Greek mythology or Lovecraft's Mythos, we're busting out the old Pokedex. Lugia is a legendary Pokemon known as the Guardian of the Sea in the Pokemon world, but what if it actually existed in the real world? Let's explore. If this kind of video interests you, head over to Top 10 Nerd. It's a sister channel hosted by Roya Destroyaa, Paoli, and yours truly, where we talk about all things nerd, including Pokemon. I'll see you over there. But for now, get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if Lugia was real? In order to avoid similarities with past videos, this will assume that Lugia is the only Pokemon that exists. This means that there are no other Pokemon, not even the other legendary birds. If you want a glimpse at a world where all the Pokemon do exist, check out our video entitled, What If Pokemon Were Real? But for now, Lugia it is. For those who don't know Pokemon, or those who are a bit rusty, I'll give you a brief description of Lugia. Lugia is a flying Pokemon in the form of a giant bird, almost resembling a combination of a dragon and a plesiosaur, with hands for some reason. As the Guardian of the Sea, it has the ability to affect the weather, capable of calming or creating storms. Even the slightest movement from its wings can create huge winds, making it an awfully dangerous creature to have flying around despite its good intentions. It also possesses some amount of psychic ability, as it's able to communicate with people telepathically. So what would happen if this giant Pokemon was real? Well, not much, probably. Lugia is quite intelligent and is aware of the destruction it can cause by flying around, so it tends to remain underwater in a secluded area. It really only surfaces in order to quell any issues that could arise due to the other legendary birds in Pokemon, and since there wouldn't be any other Pokemon, there wouldn't really be any reason for it to wake up. However, if it did come to the surface, it could cause some serious problems. If Lugia decided to leave its underwater dwelling and fly around the world, it would be followed by terrible and unpredictable storms. Great winds created by its wings would bring down houses and potentially whole cities, and the waves created could bring about mass flooding. The people of Earth could come to fear and loathe the giant bird, and some would call for it to be taken out. If this destruction continued, it's likely that people and governments around the world would attempt to kill or capture it. This might sound easy. Lugia isn't nearly as powerful as some other creatures we've discussed, like Cthulhu or Azathoth. If it was hit by a ballistic missile, it would likely be killed. However, given its power over the wind, it might be difficult to strike it with any sort of projectile, since it would likely be able to blow any projectiles away and even get rid of jets that attempted to make chase. If we take into account Lugia's speed, psychic abilities, and its ability to dive underwater, it seems unlikely that humanity would be able to stop it if it decided to fly around. That said, it should be noted that Lugia's telepathic powers and general benevolence would almost certainly stop it from doing these things. It would likely be smart enough to realize it was causing destruction by flying around and would wish to avoid such things. In this case, if Lugia found that it was harming humanity, it would stop flying around and causing destruction. This could cause it to simply return to its abode, but that isn't the only option. It's possible that Lugia would realize that its powers could be put to good use. Creating powerful winds and bringing great storms to certain areas could actually be beneficial, particularly if areas were afflicted by drought. The wind could even be used to turn windmills, creating a good deal of clean power. That said, it could be that it would be difficult for Lugia to get around without creating destructive winds, in which case it would probably be best for it to either return to the ocean or remain in one place. This brings up one rather interesting possibility. If Lugia could be communicated with telepathically, it would bring with it a great deal of wisdom. This is a creature that has been alive for centuries and can swim in the depths of the ocean. Think of the amazing things it would have to say, the wise words it could impart. If Lugia took residence atop a secluded mountain, people would come from far and wide to question it, learn from it, and possibly even teach it a thing or two. And this way, if it wished to leave, it would be far from civilization and wouldn't harm innocents. If this aspect of the creature became more well known, it could be that a sort of religion might spring up where followers lived under the teachings of Lugia, similar to the Buddha. If there was a giant beast that could communicate psychically, and droughts provide power and give wonderful advice, it wouldn't be too long before people began to worship it. And if you think about it, if Lugia was as smart and wise as many believe, this new religion wouldn't exactly be the worst thing in the world. It would be weird, but hey, most religions are pretty darn weird anyway. Of course, we are talking about humans, and as much as I'd like to remain optimistic, when humans learn about something that can cause mass destruction, they often want to get their hands on it. If Lugia was able to be captured and used to do the bidding of a master, like in the Pokemon games, it could be a devastating weapon. The ability to create gigantic storms from far away would be invaluable when fighting a war. Plus, its signature move Aeroblast would allow it to lay waste to enemies. These tactics would involve a good deal of collateral damage and would likely be sanctioned by certain governing bodies for any number of reasons, but if it got into the wrong hands, it could be horrific. If Vladimir Putin caught Lugia, things might go downhill rather quickly. Thankfully, given its amazing power, it seems unlikely that this would come to pass. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. While you're down there, let me know if you wish Lugia was real. And as I said, check out Top 10 Nerd if you're looking to binge some nerdy videos, from comic books to Star Wars. Until next time, I'm Ron McKenzie-Lefurgey with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest for answers.